How you guys doing? Gorilla, good. What's the good word? Move the camera back a little bit here. All right. Kingpin Comics, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the chat. Swing you back the other way. Went the wrong way. See if that's better. Craig, how you doing, Craig? Welcome everybody. So I've been talking some trash about this local comic shop, and it's really not trash. I'm having fun, right? I mean, nothing by it, but I went back and watched some of my videos, and it could be taken as if I was talking bad about the shop, and I'm not. I'm just having some fun. So hopefully you guys understand that. Never Stop Collecting, how you doing? Tony Sanders, my man. Ben, welcome to the chat. You were on the right track earlier today. I'll get to that in just a moment. RB3, how you doing? Oh man, yeah. There's a lot of money being spent. And yes, you are correct. It's not watch money. It's comic book money now. So it's Gorilla saying he's got to sell his sports car to get a Hulk 181. Brother, I was in the comic shop today for, I don't know, maybe 2 hours or so, talking trash with the owner. There was nobody else in the store. It was just he and I kind of hanging out, and he shared lots of stories with me, including the $500 Hulk 181 that he bought not that long ago, missing the Marvel value stamp, but he did buy a Hulk 181 for like a couple of bucks. So some opportunities out there that may not require you to sell your sports car. That's all I'm saying. And yes, Craig, 181 is definitely insane. I had a conversation with someone on the chat yesterday after the live feed, going back and forth over messages. And the guy was basically saying that he believes that Hulk 181 is just like Action Comics, in that there are roughly 100 or so 9.8s that are out there. And he feels like there is so much growth potential in Hulk 181, specifically, of course, the 9.8s. And he compared it to Action Comics #1, I guess because there are roughly 100 or so 9.8s of that book out there. So who knows whether that, will bear fruit or not. So Hulk, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the chat. Hulk is relatively new here, and he and I have been going back and forth a lot. I've definitely enjoyed the conversation. For me, this is so much more enjoyable when we can have like a dialogue and a back and forth. So I definitely appreciate those of you that make comments and make multiple comments on a video, because it makes it fun for me, that it's not just me here talking to a camera. I am in some way talking to you guys directly. Jay-Z, what's the good word? All right, so Tony Sanders will be waiting on him. Okay. So let's dig into this thing. So I went to a comic shop a couple of days ago. It was a little disorganized. I went to the shop originally 4 years ago, didn't buy anything. I really wasn't collecting them, but I went back over the long holiday, and it was a little bit of a gold mine. I found some really, really neat stuff. And the shop was overwhelmed with people looking for cards and, tchotchkes and things like that. It wasn't really a time to dig into, long boxes. And the AC wasn't on. AC was on today. So I headed back to the comic shop today. I actually called the owner the day after I was there and was like, hey, so what's a good day to come? Do you think if I come on Tuesday that you'll have some time to chat? He was like, yes, yes, and yes. So I basically was there moments after he opened the door. And again, I spent about 2 hours or so there. Could have spent a lot longer, but I needed to get back and relieve the wife so that she could run a couple of errands. But we got some good stuff today. We really did get some amazing stuff today, and it wasn't, not all of it was, some of it was dirt cheap, some of it was a little bit more expensive, but some pretty awesome stuff. So we're gonna roll through this thing. Let me say a couple of quick hellos to some people. Ryan the Comics Kid, I see you. My buddy DS Comics, always good to see you, brother. Attila, thank you for coming by. Who else is here? We already spoken to Tony Sanders, but welcome again to you, Tony Sanders. So I'm looking here at Ben's comment. He's saying that Action Comics #1, AF-15, Hulk 181 are the gems of their respective ages. He says there are not 100 copies of Action 1 graded 9.8, barely 100 total copies graded. So again, when I read it, because I'm not a DC guy, I couldn't put it in its proper context. So Ben, thank you for that clarification. That's definitely helpful. it seemed a little off to me, but you know, I try on this channel, I try not to cause controversy, right? This is comics and it should be fun. But Ben, thank you for allowing me to clarify that, because people will watch the video and may not read the comments. So thank you for allowing me to make that clarification. I appreciate it. My brother, Alec, Whitewell Comics, welcome to the chat. Got your shirt up back there, brother, on a box. You can probably see it in the very corner over my shoulder. So let's get rolling with this thing. We have, I think, some really cool stuff that's in here. So the thing about this shop is that the books are like everywhere. And so while the guy was pricing my books that I'll show you in a second, I kind of roamed around the shop and I was looking at boxes, and I would find a box in a corner, I would open it up and sort through it. And so basically I was done shopping when I found this. This is a book that we all recognize, right? It is X-Men #1, but what makes this cool is it's a newsstand edition. I don't have any newsstands of X-Men 1 in my collection. This is an awesome find for me. Definitely a cool find, and it's in amazing shape. It was in a box with like a bunch of kids' books sitting by the door. So definitely excited to have that. There's a couple of bins in this thing that I think can be gotten out with a quick press, but it is definitely a really, really nice copy of X-Men #1. The guy also told me some wonderful stories about Jim Lee and Stan Lee, so I got a big kick out of that, because it was like every book I showed, he basically had a little story about it. So the next book is a first appearance of Madeline Pryor. It is Uncanny X-Men #168. I do not think that I have this one in my bins behind me. It's a book that I've had my eye on for some time because I'm a huge fan of X-Men. I have books before this one and books after it, but I did not have 168. I also went ahead and picked up Uncanny X-Men 169. This is the first appearance of Callisto. This is a very, very cool copy, also in really great shape. This one, along with the last one I showed you, were not bagged and boarded, but they are in solid shape. And then I picked this one up, 192. Nothing tremendously exciting about this one. This is an appearance of Magus, I think that's how you say it. And Magus is basically a technovirus that is the father of Warlock, and Warlock appeared in New Mutants. He was on the New Mutants team. But what's cool about that is that Magus and Warlock are actually created by Chris Claremont and Bill, and they did it as a homage to Adam Warlock and Magus. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Nothing really significant about that book at all, but it was really cool. You guys are having a solid, someone is saying 166 is also the first, no, is it 166 or 168? I think this is like the first mention of Lockheed. I thought this is the first mention, but I wasn't sure if he appeared in there. So I thought that was pretty cool. So the next set of books are some X Factor books. If you remember from my last live stream, I actually picked up 2 copies of X Factor #1. I'm a fan, or had been a big fan of X Factor, and I have a lot of the books, but I didn't have the earlier stuff. So I picked up 2 copies of #1. Went back today, almost bought a 3rd copy, but instead I got #2. And this is just the first appearance of a mutant that has the ability to create holograms. So nothing spectacular there, but it is a pretty cool book in great shape. I also picked up #7, and this one is, again, nothing crazy, but it has 4 first appearances of some characters. And as you guys know, you never know what's going to happen with these characters at some point. So this one was cool because it had 4 first appearances in 1 single issue. #12, X Factor, another cool cover featuring Bam Bam, I think right in the middle. And this is actually the first appearance of a character that will become Famine. So I thought that was pretty cool. And again, none of these books were crazy expensive that I'm showing you right now. This one's cool. Number 15. This one is where Angel loses his wings. So this one's one that I did not have. I actually have the first appearance of Archangel, which is a really, really solid copy. But this is one that I did not have where he actually lost his wings. So super excited to have that one in there. So let me get caught up real quick. Bam, bam is Flintstones. Boom, boom. There we go. Thank you, Kingpin. Brother, we are live streaming here, okay? So whatever comes out, comes out. I trust you guys will either make the adjustments mentally or will correct me. So thank you for that. But now bam, bam, boom, boom. All right. So you got a couple of other guys popping in here. Ryan, the Comics Kid. I don't know what's going on with those smiling faces, but hey, let's roll with it. All right, so we got a couple of those things. So the next thing that I picked up is one that I did not think I would ever buy. Brother, I have Fallen Angels. I have that book already. Fallen Angel, I have that and have had that one since I was a kid. So if you're talking about X-Terminators, Fallen Angel, X-Factor, I've got all that stuff covered. Trust me when I tell you. So this next one that I picked up is number 1 of Miss Marvel. This is a book that I honestly did not think that I was going to get, but it is a newsstand copy and it was at a fair price, so I decided to go ahead and pick it up. This book is actually in really, really solid shape. A little bit of some creasing from where I think when the book was printed and one spine tick over off to the side, but other than that, this book is in great shape. So definitely have this one. Kingpin, I do have X Factor 6. So the other actual like big keys, if there are big keys in X Factor, I already have those. But these were ones that I didn't have that I just thought were cool and they were not at a terrible price. Part of my thing is, and this is why I actually go to 3 different comic shops for books, is I think it's important to support local businesses. So do I need these books? No. But are they cool books to find in the wild? Yes, they are. And do they support local businesses? Absolutely. And will this shop owner eventually show me some love? Maybe. But you've got to support people, right? So, and that's part of the reason why I end up doing it. Gorilla, I will not sell you this book. You probably already have like 10 of them already. Gorilla is a big fan of Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and anything else with the word Marvel. If you check out his videos, he has a shelf or 2 full of Marvel stuff. So yeah, Blade Runner, I think it is a printer's crease. You know, some of that can be fixed, I think, but we'll see. It's just a cool book, right? It's like a book everybody's excited about. I've never really read a Miss Marvel, so we'll read it. Maybe I'll like it, who knows? But as I mentioned, if you guys follow me on the live feed of if you follow me on Instagram, I kind of made the comments, some of these books may find a home elsewhere, who knows? But again, my thing is the book was there, it was in front of me, it was a great price. I'm supporting a local business and eventually maybe some wonderful things will come my way because of that. In fact, the guy mentioned a couple of books to me that are lost in the shop, that are major books that are lost. So I'm hoping if and when those books are ever found, that they will find their way to my personal collection, you know? So we'll see. JD is saying the best time of the day, maybe it's because it's what, lunchtime or quitting time, or I don't know. So getting caught up here. Tide pools, go catch real fish. Knights of Old, brother, we are going to be very positive on this channel. So hopefully you appreciate that comment because we are all about positivity, my friend. We are all about it, all right? So a couple of other books that I picked up. If you guys haven't been over to Comics with Bueller, he does some pretty cool stuff on his channel. He has been doing this whole thing, Just the Keys, which I think is really cool. He did a series on X Factor, which I thought was really cool. He also did one on Web of Spiderman, I want to say, but he has some really cool stuff over there. And then I think JD, I want to say, is it JD? I think JD also did a really cool one on Kraven's The Last Hunt, which I thought was really cool. So I picked up a couple of things that I did not have. One of them was Web of Spider-Man number 31. And I believe that this is part 1 of the Kraven's The Last Hunt, which I think is really cool. I did not have this book in my collection, so I think that that was pretty cool. And then I also picked up number 4 in a 4-part story arc, Web of Spider-Man number 32. So I struggled a little bit with reading The Kraven's the Last Hunt. I actually went back and read it, and I know a couple of you guys are saying it's a great read. I struggle with it just a little bit, and maybe I need to read it again. Sometimes I read books late at night on my iPad, and that's maybe not the best time when you're like half asleep. But I thought that the artwork was pretty darn solid. These black covers, the black costume, it works really well. And maybe I'll go back and even read it one more time to see if I can really get from it what I think so many of you appreciate about the Kraven's the Last Hunt story arc. And so with that, I will actually segue. Hold on, let me get caught up here. A Web 32 is a modern, iconic cover. I would probably agree with you with that. That is definitely a nice cover. You know, there's some cool stuff happening with these books. So there isn't, I don't think, a ton with Web of Spider-Man, but I have a pretty decent run of Web of Spider-Man. I have a couple of number ones, et cetera, et cetera. But these were some books somehow I never picked up. So it was cool to actually be able to track these down and add them to the collection. Miss Hustle just got here. Welcome, welcome. All right, so with that, talking about Web of Spider-Man, that story arc, which I need to go back and read to see if I can fully appreciate it, we are going to segue into some Silver Age goodness, okay? And there's a reason why I do things the way that I do, because we are going to segue into Amazing Spider-Man number 15, which is the first appearance of Kraven. So this book is pretty awesome. I have not read this. I will be reading this tonight, but this book is pretty darn awesome. It is in solid shape. There is a little bit of writing on the front cover. Someone wrote in the date right there on the front. But otherwise, this book is in solid shape. The cover is attached. The book is complete. It is also clean. You have some things going on a little bit at the top of the spine, a little bit across the top of the book, but otherwise this book is in solid shape. So again, we started off with some filler stuff with the X Factor, but we segued into some pretty cool stuff, including this wonderful, wonderful book that I'm super pumped to have in the collection. The guy had a nice stack of these things there, handed them to me, and I started flipping through. I was like, that's okay, that's okay. I was like, oh, there's some goodness here. There's some goodness. And I tried to contain myself as I continued to make my way to another first appearance, specifically of let me make sure I get this right, the newest, greatest arch villain who is actually stronger than Spider-Man. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? Anybody, any guesses? We are talking about Amazing Spider-Man number 20, first appearance of the Scorpion. And again, this is a pretty awesome book. Someone is actually on Instagram today selling a 7.0 signature series of this book right now for a decent price, and I was kind of staring at it like that would be cool. But lo and behold, we go out into the wild today and we find this gem. This book is in great shape. There is, for a book of its age, there's a couple of things going on. We have a date up here that someone has written. There's a little bit of, it may be an old sticker or something like that may be able to be removed. And there's a little bit of staining. Other than that, front and back, the book is in great shape. No writing on the inside. I think the pages are pretty white, so I'm definitely excited about this book. This one was really cool to find. So, again, I'm telling you, Gorilla, thank you for stopping by, brother. Thank you for stopping by. RB3, I would probably agree with you. I prefer that, not the hand. I prefer like the rubber stamp that they do. I think that one's cool. But again, it is what it is, right? So 2 awesome books that could only be made better by a 3rd book. This one's cool. This one is a cool book. So this one right here, so October 8th arrival of the ASM 20. There you go. So the last book that I picked up was, again, towards the bottom of the stack. It is a little rougher than the other two that I just showed you, but it is another first appearance, Amazing Spider-Man number 6. This is an awesome book. First appearance of some guy. Yeah, the Lizard. First appearance of the Lizard. So this one is a really cool book that I was super excited to see in the stack of books that he handed me. This book is actually in really great shape. Well, I should say, take it back. It's in okay shape. There is a tear here on the front cover that is about a little over an inch right here. But again, for something that you find in the wild and something that you pay for, that you don't pay a whole lot for, I couldn't be more pleased to have this book in the collection. So again, we had a little bit of filler stuff, but I think we recovered quite nicely with some awesome Spider-Man goodness. These bad boys will join Amazing Spider-Man number 1, which is in the box behind me. These are some of the lowest number Spider-Man books that I have. So definitely excited to continue growing the Spider-Man collection. So JD, we've got 50 behind me. We don't need another one of those. We got 50 behind me back there. So yeah, so well, I told you this was a really solid haul. And it was cool because I hung out in the shop with a guy that had some wonderful stories to tell about Jim Lee, tell about Stan Lee. I guess this guy used to organize WonderCon back in the day. Super nice guy. Had some great stories to tell that I enjoyed, and I could have honestly been there a lot longer. But again, I had to get back home a little bit quicker. So definitely some really cool stuff here. So let me get caught up here. So Tony is basically saying that Kraven is a spec book that is due. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement around Kraven the Last Hunt and what they may do with that. DS Comics, thank you for stopping by, brother. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement around Kraven's The Last Hunt. People think that potentially he will make an appearance at some point in a movie. So only time will tell whether that happens or not. People seem to really like the story. Which I think is a really good thing, you know, and so maybe he will make an appearance on the big screen. You never know. So someone's asking what I paid. I'm not that guy that talks about like numbers, right? Like if you were to message me one-on-one, then maybe I give you some idea, but I don't really talk about numbers. That's not really my thing. What I like to do is I like to keep it relatively general and say, that it was a more than fair price for what I paid for the books. It was definitely not close to eBay prices for these books. And I feel like I got a good deal, and I feel like he got a good deal out of me, to the point where we stood there after the deal and chatted for like another 30 minutes or so, because it was just a good experience where we both walked away feeling good about the deal that was made. So I don't really talk about numbers. Hopefully you understand that. So yeah, there is no series like that, my man. Evan is asking whether there is going to be a new series, Comic Hunting and Meal Prep. Craig, thank you for stopping by. If you want to check out meal prep stuff, there's definitely some other videos elsewhere in this channel where you can see meal prep and workouts and all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely head over there. And RB3, you know me, brother. We talk sometimes numbers, right? When we do that behind the scenes, you know, because the thing is, no matter what number you throw out, somebody will think you pay too much or too little, or people will say that's out of their budget, or, you know, you shouldn't have spent that. Like for me, there's really no winning when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's just really not my style. It's not my style. So hopefully people are okay with that. But it was another really great experience. I honestly, this shop was set up in such a way that I probably could have spent a lot more time there, because there were stacks of books where I couldn't get to them, but I would ask him to hand me the stack so I could kind of go through it. But after a while, you can't keep doing that. It's just because it becomes a lot, and he can't look up prices and figure out what he's going to charge you if he's always handing you a stack or something like that. So I think, you know, I could have spent a lot more time there. My hope is that I'll be able to get back over there sometime soon. to spend a little bit more time. I asked him to find a couple of books that he said were kind of lost in the shop. My hope is that he'll be able to find them and I'll be able to pick those books up, because I feel like this guy has a ton of just amazing books. There's even a warehouse. Like, the guy was telling me, like, there is a warehouse somewhere with tons of books. And he was talking about how he actually got a message, and I don't remember the time, but he got a message from Marvel when Marvel had a warehouse somewhere in Arizona, and basically said, here is a list of all the things that we have in inventory. Are you interested? And one of the things that wasn't on the list, but that come to find out was in the warehouse, was about 1,000 copies of the Platinum Spider-Man that Todd McFarlane did back in the day. And he knows this because a buddy of his went to that warehouse, looked around, didn't see it, but another shop that actually bought a lot of the stuff from that warehouse, and they bought those Spider-Man Platinum and then started to sell them on eBay. And that's how he knows that they were in the inventory, but not, they were in the warehouse, but not on the inventory list. And so, that was just interesting. The guy had so many stories. And you know me, I'm like, so do you still get those emails from Marvel? Because it's like, if Marvel's got a warehouse somewhere of some unused comics, I want to know the guy that has access to that, you know? So Knights of Old is basically saying he kind of agrees with me about numbers and grades. Yeah, it's just, you know, and that's the thing. There you go right there. And my thing is, I'm not saying that people shouldn't do it. I'm simply saying that I don't, right? People can do what they do. And for some of you are relatively new to the channel here, we are all about positivity. I don't do any negativity. That's just not my thing, right? It is all about the comics, and it is all about having fun. That's it, you know? So hopefully everybody's good with that. See, Woodard just got here. Welcome to the chat, brother. Welcome to the chat. How you doing? RB3. So here's the thing. If you drive, I will carry the crowbar, okay? And we can go find that warehouse and see what's up, and get a U-Haul van and load that sucker up. So, Alex, the comic hoarder, welcome, brother. Says you've been here for a while. Welcome to the chat. Well, welcome to the chatting part. If you've been here for a while, welcome to that. All right, so let's do a quick recap, guys. I want to, keep it moving because I know a lot of you guys are at work. So I want to keep it moving. And I want to thank everyone that has joined me for this chat, because I genuinely enjoy doing these things. So bear with me. A couple of people made some comments about the filler that I have, and there is a little bit of filler, but there are also some cool books, you know? So, and I'm just going to run through these. I'm not going to talk about them in great detail. If you want to know some details, you can run back through the live stream or the replay. So we picked up Uncanny X-Men number 168. And these are a little out of order. I apologize for that. Uncanny X-Men 192. Back off of the camera so you can actually see. Picked up Uncanny X-Men 169. That is a pretty interesting cover there. Picked up a newsstand copy of X-Men number 1, the first one that I've ever picked up that's actually a newsstand copy. So definitely excited to have found this one out there in the wild. Picked up several X Factor books, and we're going to do these in reverse order. Picked up X Factor number 15, where Angel loses his wings. X Factor 12, and a lot of these have some first appearances in them. Number 7, X Factor, and then of course number 2. And I would encourage you, if you want to know more about those, to go check out Comics with Bueller. He just did a Just the Keys video on X Factor, which is really good. So check that out. Picked up a Miss Marvel number 1 newsstand, a book I did not think that I was going to buy, but when I found it in the stack, it was a little hard to put it back. So we picked this one up, so that was pretty cool. We picked up 2 really cool Kraven's The Last Hunt books. We picked up part 4. This is a Web of Spider-Man number 32. And then we also picked up the first part, Web of Spider-Man 31. Some fantastic artwork on both of these books from a story arc that a lot of people really, really love. We were also super fortunate to pick up some Silver Age goodness, all right? Everybody knows I am a fan of Spider-Man. You can see a lot of that wall behind me is actually Spider-Man. So when I had the chance to buy these things out there, I had to seize the opportunity. Amazing Spider-Man number 6. and this is the first appearance of the Lizard. And we talked a little bit about this guy already, the first appearance of Kraven. This is Kraven the Hunter, Amazing Spider-Man number 15. And then again, because we're on all about the first right now, Amazing Spider-Man number 20, first appearance of the Lizard. So definitely some really cool books to pick up. Super excited to have these in the collection. I've already dropped them into some My Lights 2s. And if you want to see the rationale behind that, there is a video that I've put up already where you can check out how to protect your comic books. Speaking of that, the folks over at Collectibles Insurance, the insurance company that I did a video on recently, actually reached out to me today. They saw the video that I recorded on YouTube. They reached out to me and they said, hey, if anyone is interested in securing some insurance for their comics, here is my direct number, have them call me. So if you guys are interested in getting some insurance, interested in getting a quote, whatever it is, send me a message, RegieCollects on Instagram or RegieCollects@gmail, and I will gladly give you this information. They are not giving me anything for it. I just think it's cool to do this stuff. I think it's cool that they reached out and said, hey, thank you for making the video. It's a good video. If you have someone, let us know. So I'm not getting anything off of it. It's just something that I'm doing to give back to the community. So Long Box Love Affair, welcome to the chat, brother. I just watched your video earlier today where you had the sale going on. So if you guys want to pick up some books, check out Long Box Love Affair. He's got a sale going on. And thank you for doing that video, because I was thinking about doing something similar, didn't know how to do it, but you gave me a couple of things to think about, so I appreciate that. RB3, thank you for that. He's saying great books, fantastic read. Yes, I would agree. Thank you, Miss Hustle. That is definitely a cool Miss Marvel book. Did not think I would own that one. What is Tony saying? Miss Marvel, come over to the dark side and get that Marvel Heroes 13. Yeah, Maximilian. So the Amazing Spider-Man books are great. I'm going to tell you. I think they could benefit from a little bit of cleaning and some pressing, but they are really, really nice books to have found in the wild. So I'm definitely super pumped about that. Nice to have these in the collection. My goal to some degree is to kind of get, if I can, the ultimate goal would probably be like 1 through 100 maybe of Amazing Spider-Man. There's a lot of not so great books there but are still good, that it's hard to say, yes, I want absolutely 1 through 100, but it'd be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool to get that kind of run and to be able to put it together, you know? So this sends me down that path of being able to do that. So with that, I am going to say thank you to everyone that had an opportunity to spend a little bit of their time with me today. I absolutely enjoyed you guys. There was a lot of new people that are joining the channel, a lot of new people that are joining the chats. I appreciate every single one of you guys spending a little bit of time with me. Thank you in advance for all the comments that you made here, and certainly thank you for any thumbs up that you may leave behind. All right. With that, I will sign off, and I'll see you guys next time. Maybe if I can end the chat.